Hello again. Welcome to Cooking at Deglaze. And today we're going to make a dish called lemon chicken. It's really simple, it's easy. I used to work at Buca di Beppo many years ago, and I learned this recipe, another fun Italian recipe from my friend Vittorio Renda. But we used to make this, it's probably still on the menu. I've been gone for years, but still on the menu. I've kind of got a little bit of a twist to it with some artichokes that they didn't used to do, but I'm going to use, which makes it just a little bit more of an elevated dish. But I'm going to show you how to simply make a lemon butter caper sauce that goes on the top of some roasted chicken. It's often called chicken piccata. You'll see that on Italian menus. We used to call it lemon chicken. You can call it whatever you want. I call it delicious. Okay, here we have in front of me all the ingredients for lemon chicken. It's pretty simple, and you probably have some of them around your house already, except maybe the capers and the artichoke hearts. You might have to get those. Artichoke hearts are optional. I love to use them because it just really makes the dish really nice. Capers, oh gosh, you gotta have those. They're briny and they really complement the richness of the sauce. We're gonna use a little bit of flour and salt on the chicken breast and saute that, and then we'll put them in the oven and let them bake while we make the sauce. And the sauce is just straightforward. It's 4 ingredients. It's cream, a little bit of white wine, lemon juice, and lots of butter. Finish it off with the capers and the artichoke hearts, and you'll have just a nice, elegant dish to serve to your friends and family. Okay, I've got everything prepped, so it'll be super simple to put together. Flour, we're going to use that just to coat the chicken so that it doesn't stick in the pan too much after we salt it. Got our ingredients measured out for our lemon juice and our white wine, 2 ounces. It's a 1/4 cup. I just don't have another 1/4 cup measure, so it's in there. Capers, artichoke hearts, and then all the butter is all cut up into cubes and ready to go so that we can make it into the sauce. So let's get to the stove and show you how it's all put together. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to salt the chicken. Just salt it just nice and lightly all over. A little bit like that. You know, chicken's kind of bland, so you want to just make sure you get a little bit extra flavor in there. The next thing we want to do with the chicken before cooking it is to coat it in flour. Just gives us a nice slight dusting of it, and it will help so that it doesn't quite stick to the pan as much when we're sauteing it. So simply to do that, I've got a little bowl here. We're going to just dump all that flour in there. Shouldn't take too much. And then what you want to do is just lightly coat each piece of chicken with a little bit of flour. Shake off the excess. We'll put it onto another plate, and we'll repeat that with all 4 pieces of our chicken. Now that the chicken's all coated with flour, we can start to saute it. The flour that's in the bowl is full of chicken juice, so you just want to throw it away. Don't ever put it back in your flour container. You want to get your pan hot over like medium-high heat, saute pan. With this size of saute pan, which is what I have, we'll get 2 breasts in there at a time. We're going to pour a little bit of olive oil in there, just to get the sauteing going. We might have to add just a little bit more as we get the second breast in. You can see the oil is shimmering in there. That means it's nice and hot and ready to take our chicken. So I put the chicken in there, and I put it what they call skin side down, which is with all the little pieces parts, the smooth side down. We're going to let that saute a little bit. We want it to get golden brown, and then we're going to flip it, let the other side get a little golden brown. We're going to take it off, and we're going to put it over here on this baking tray, and then we'll put it in the oven. The sauteing of the chicken is not meant to cook the chicken all the way through. It's meant to just get it golden brown so that it looks really pretty when it comes out of the oven. But we're going to finish it in a 400-degree oven for about 15 or 18 minutes until it gets to be 165 and make sure it's really cooked through while we make the sauce. See how easily those move around in there? That flour helps to not make it stick so much. Also sort of gives it just this ever so slight light crust on the top of the chicken, on the outside of the chicken, which is kind of nice for some texture. the inside of the pan's just a little bit more warm. It's getting a little more golden brown than the other one is. We'll let that one go for just a little bit more. You can see at this point there's not too much oil in there, and it's smoking a little bit. So I'm going to take that off the burner for a little bit. Now's the time to add the artichoke hearts. Just kind of sprinkle them all around the pan. You just want those to cook up and get hot so that we can use them as garnish when the chicken comes out of the oven. Now it's time to deglaze this pan. I took a paper towel and just lightly wiped out all the rest of the oil. But we're going to pour the white wine in. And the lemon juice. You can see that cooled it down quite a bit. We got some steam. We want that to reduce by about half. So you want to get sort of about a quarter cup left there. You're concentrating the acids and concentrating the flavors. A little bit further. It's okay that there's little particles in there from the sauteing of the chicken. That's just natural. Don't dirty another pan. There we go. So then, in comes the cream. It looked like there in the beginning it curdled just a little bit, but it really didn't. It just needs to mix with the acid and get the fat all emulsified in there together, and you can see how it all came back together. We want this to reduce again to get some nice big bubbles, and again about by half. Now we're going to turn this down to low. At this point, we really just want it to be warm enough because we're going to start to incorporate the butter. Just a cube at a time. And you want to just kind of take it, I put it under my whisk and I just start putting it, stirring it around, letting it melt, and keep blending it together. This is what's called an emulsified sauce. You're emulsifying the acids and the fats. Sort of like making... like you would have sort of when you're trying to mix mayonnaise. That's an emulsified sauce. You just kind of want to put a couple in at a time, let them melt. This is a little bit of a slower process. You want to be patient, but you don't want it to break. And eventually it will all get melted together and it'll make a beautiful sauce. Now it may look like all the butter is melted in, but give it another minute's worth of a stir just to make sure all those little pieces are in there and everything's stirred together. So now your lemon chicken sauce, or your chicken piccata sauce is finished. It's essentially a French beurre blanc, lemon flavored, which is great. At this point, if you're ready for dinner, we'll plate the chicken as soon as it comes out of the oven. But if you're not ready for dinner, if you want to get this done ahead of time, I've had good success making this earlier in the afternoon and then putting it in like an insulated water bottle or a thermos or something and just holding it so that it stays warm. You don't want to get hot because you don't want it to break, and you might have to whip it together just a little bit before you serve it. But that way you can get this part out of the way before you have to serve your guests. Okay, wonderful plate of lemon chicken. Took the chicken out of the oven, plated it, covered it with a little bit of sauce, drizzled it, and then I put the artichokes on there and sprinkled the capers over the top. You can see some of the artichokes got nice and crispy from being on the baking tray. That's great. It adds some texture and some color to the dish. And you'll probably have extra sauce, which is wonderful. Serve it on the side and let your guests have more as they like it. Smells heavenly. Brings me back to good fond memories from my days at Buca di Beppo and all the folks I worked with there. So wonderful. Enjoy.